Good morning. This is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here joining you with my new puppy. This is Sydney, and you can see how cute she is. She's our newest family member, and she's a mini Australian Shepherd. And you can see that she's wearing this cute little sweater, and I thought I would copy it. So I have started a new little sweater, and this one's made out of alpaca because this next week, toward the end of this week actually, it's going to get down to -7 or
-7.
supposedly. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, you're going to go. You're going to go with Auntie Renee. So I will pass Sydney off to Renee here.
Some people are just joining us.
See little Sydney? She's so cute. She's just over 8 weeks old, and she's already whining at the back door when she has to go potty. Of course, she has great big sisters that help her learn how to be potty trained. She's doing great. And I'm so happy to have her with us. The only problem is she likes to sleep in our bed. And right at the top of my list of things that I wasn't going to do when we were training her was to allow her to sleep in our bed. Oh dear. Oh well, she's really cuddly and she is quiet. So anyway.
She sleeps in our bed every night.
She's kind of wrapped around my fingers already, and we've only had her since the 24th. So she's a really cute little addition to our family. So this week, I wanted to spend a moment and talk about how to cast on for 2 at a time in the round. So say that you're doing socks or slippers like these are, and you're starting at the cuffs and you want to cast on. How do you get these on your 40-inch needles so that you can knit them all at once and have it work? And I think that we had some of our customers that were wondering how to do this. And so I thought I would show you again because it is one of the most valuable skills that I have learned yet in my knitting. How to cast on for 2 at a time if you're doing sleeves, 2 at a time if you're doing socks, 2 at a time if you're doing slippers, 2 at a time. Whether or not they're toe up or top down, it doesn't matter. Being able to cast on for 2 at a time using Judy's Magic Cast On or any of those cast ons really allows you to knit faster. That's what it's all about, and make your projects more accurate, because if for some reason you knit an extra round on one sock because you're doing them 2 at a time, it's on both socks, and it's now called a design element. Isn't that cool? It's totally fantastic. So I thought I'd go over that with you. And then every week we have a prize. So for this last week, I think it
was a replay because you were.
Yes, it was a replay, and the color that won was Heritage in the burgundy colorway. And if you haven't used this sock yarn by Cascade Yarn Company, it is 75% merino superwash and 25% nylon. It makes for a great shawl, socks, anything like that, and it's very an economically priced yarn that it works great. I really like it. So here it is. This is what it looks like.
Lots of people are joining us. So
yes, and this yarn is particularly nice for when you're doing color work because the price point is so cost effective. You can buy several colors of it, and it's about the same price as some of the more expensive yarns. So if you wanted to do color work, this Cascade Heritage sock yarn is perfect for that. So for this week, I was thinking for the prize, I was going to do like a medium size in blue and brown. And of course, we only have medium size in brown. So my other choice was a large size in this gray heather. So I thought we could vote, whatever you guys think. Should we offer the medium brown? And these are called our extreme boot socks, and they are our warmest socks that we have, and they're not a high crew length, they're just a regular crew length, but they have, if you look at the inside of the sock, do you see how they have these really nice loop? It is full terry on the inside, and that is made out of a very high content of alpaca. Not too high, because if it's too high, then you get a felted sock, right, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
But it has just high enough that it gives you all the warmth that you'll need, and then it gives you some washability. Although for any of our alpaca socks, make sure that you rescue them from the dryer. Try not to dry them, because they last a whole lot longer if you just set them on top of the dryer. And then by the time your other load of laundry that's gone through the dryer is done, the socks are dry, don't you think, Jim? And they last a whole lot longer. So for this week, let's vote on a brown, medium, or a large gray heather. And you guys choose.
These are the most popular.
Yes, these are our most popular sock that we carry, and they're nice and thick. And my mom, and actually I do too, like wearing these socks for slippers. They make wonderful slippers. If you've ever tried them, you'll never do without them. I know one of our family, my daughter-in-law, her mom Kim, she wears these to bed every night. And for me, I can't do that because my feet get too hot. But if you have really, really cold feet and you can't get your feet warm, try these. They're totally life-changing. And they're worth every single cent that you pay for them. Don't you think, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I got into the business of selling alpaca because of how wonderful the alpaca is, and it changed my life because I was always complaining of being cold. And so now I don't complain of being cold anymore because I have the proper gear. A little alpaca here and there, and I'm ready to go. So let's take a look for a second and see how we do this cast on, because I want you guys to understand how to do this cast on. Can you guys let me know if you've done this cast on before? It's called How to Cast On for 2 at a Time in the Round Using the Magic Loop Method. And I don't know if these are 40-inch cords or 46, 48, whatever. Anyway, you want at least a 40-inch cord. And then what you do is you can use any cast on type that you want. If you use the long tail cast on and you're casting on for your first sock or slipper, make sure you give yourself enough yarn for the whole amount of stitches. So step 1 in our How to Cast On for 2 at a Time in the Round is to cast on half of your stitches. So I'm going to pretend that half of my stitches is 20 stitches, right? So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm doing the long tail cast on. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so then we just check. Do we actually have 20 stitches on our needles? 5, 10, 15, 20. Yes, I have 20 stitches on my needle. And you can see that I have some tail left here to finish the other stitches. And I'm going to slide these stitches all the way over to the right-hand side of my needle. See? So it looks like that. Okay? Then I move that amount of yarn over to the side and I grab another cake of yarn. And again, I'm going to give myself plenty of yarn to cast on the whole amount. Now this time I'm going to be casting on 40 stitches or the entire amount of stitches. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, oops, 25. You'll see that this yarn is a little bit splitty, but it's only because I have used it so many times. The poor yarn gets used to death. So let me recount here so I know where I'm at. So I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I have 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I kind of have a little knot in my yarn here. Oh, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now I have 40 stitches. This is my second sock, and I have cast on all of the stitches for my second part of this cast on. Then I want to count to 5, 10, 15, 20, and I split it because I'm going to start doing the magic loop method, right? All right. So now you see right here, I have on this left-hand side, this is my sock number 2, and right here on top of this is sock number 1. So all I have to do to complete this cast on is grab my working yarn and my tail, and you put these right next to each other. Let's grab this cake and put it back over here, and kind of move these stitches down a little bit because that's sock number 2, and I'm going to finish the cast on for sock number 1. All right, so you don't have to be really tight. You just cast on one more stitch and then snug it up. Okay, so that's 1, and then we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, so now we have sock number 2 is cast on and sock number 1 is cast on. So what you do is you make sure that you have your working yarn and you're not using your tail. And you make these stitches, I call them kissing each other, because you don't want this to be twisted when you start knitting with it. And you hold these needles together and turn it, okay? And I have my working yarn right here in the back, and I'm just going to put it between the needles so that I have it handy for me to work. And if I'm going to do ribbing, here's where I would do a knit 1, purl 1. And what you can do is you can snug it up, okay? Knit 1, purl 1. And mind you, my yarn is splitty because it's been used 20 ways to Sunday. See how it's all, I pretty much kill it.
I think Cindy was running with it this morning.
Oh, you're talking about, oh yeah, Sydney? Yeah, she was. She got a hold of my yarn and took off running across the family room, and she had it shred all over the place. Then she wouldn't let go of it. If it saved her life, she was thinking that was a great game, which we don't want to teach our puppies to do that because, you know, we want to be able to knit and have fun and not have it be a headache. So Sydney has a little learning to do, but given that she's not even 9 weeks old yet, she is a total angel. If you guys aren't familiar with Aussies, oh my word, they are such smart dogs, just totally enjoyable. So there you go. I've got 1/2 of my sock is knit across, and then you can see that I would move that over to the side, and then you make the next stitches kiss, and you got to make sure that everything is not twisted. You want this end right here to be straight, and again, you are making your magic loop. See, loop here and loop here, and then you got to look for not your tail, but you want your working yarn, and you want to bring that working yarn. You can move this tail, it's kind of long because I didn't really measure it, and you can just put it up right up in here and do knit 1, purl 1, and then you will have your sock totally cast on and have begun working your socks 2 at a time in the round. Isn't that cool? But when you first do that first stitch, just snug it up. And then when you do the next stitch, snug it again. And then you will have your project started. And it's such a cool method. When I first learned this, I was jumping up and down, huh, Jim? Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, God is good. I don't have to start one sock and then start the other sock and then figure out how many rounds I've done before I add them together and knit off needles to get onto another. It just saves it. I guess you save like half the time because if you're knitting one sock, it's not that much more work to knit two. It really isn't. It's not double the work. It's like 1.5 times the work, not double the work, or at least as far as speed is concerned. It's not that much harder. But let's take a look and see what this looks like. See? So we have our socks, and my needle size is kind of big. You can see.
Yeah.
Can you see? We're cast on for both.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is my tail.
Mm-hmm.
And this one right here is my tail. And my working yarns are right here. This one for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then right here is this one.
Okay.
And then what you would do is you would take, once I finish that stitch, I can't work this stitch twice. So then I would take my needle cord and just pull it right into position and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It's a wiggling thing for the first couple rounds. Once you get past the first couple rounds, and then it smooths right out and you smooth sailing. So you would hold your working yarn here, pull this needle out, and then begin working on the back side, making sure to snug that first stitch up just a little bit so we don't have any sloppy ladders, and do it like that. And that is how you cast on for 2 at a time in the round using the magic loop method so that you can cast on your socks at the same time and speed up your project. You know how I am. I like to speed up my project. So being able to do that cast on, I was so excited when I learned it. So I hope that you guys understood what I was doing, and I hope you're able to learn from it, because being able to do this cast on, oh my word. If you get a chance and you don't understand it for some reason, just replay can't you replay it over and over? Yeah. And see if you can get it, because I'm telling you, it is fantastic. I love this technique. And I didn't learn it until I had been knitting for a few months, quite a while anyway. So learning this technique is, oh my gosh, it's so wonderful.
There's some questions.
Sure.
So one was, are you doing your hand stretching exercises? So you can repeat this because they can't hear me. Are you doing the hand stretching exercises because it looks like you're knitting effortlessly or without pain?
Yes, I'm continuing with my hand exercises, and my hand is still swollen. They have done so many tests; they're not sure why it's doing that. I do have some other symptoms as well, and so they're thinking that the other symptoms might be related, and so I don't know. They're either going to refer me to an orthopedic surgeon or to a rheumatologist, depending on what the next, because I've had some biopsies done as well. So they don't know exactly, but I'm doing okay. The pain in my hand is not severe, and it doesn't seem to get worse with knitting. Although I have allowed my hands to rest quite a bit, right, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done quite as much knitting, partly because I've had the puppy, and partly because I have a husband that just had his knee replaced, and he is just a little over 1 week post-op.
1 week yesterday.
And yep, and he is already walking with a cane with the total knee replacement, when he had his other knee replaced just over around 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago. So he's doing fantastic. He's such a trooper. I knew that he would do well, because this is a man that is driven from his core. He eats, sleeps, and lives work. And so I knew that he would be driven to get back on his feet and do his thing, because he doesn't like being held down. So he's doing fantastic with that. And yes, my hands, thank you for asking. My hand is doing okay. And I'm managing to be able to knit some, and we're still trying to figure it out. So I'll let you know if I find out something, but I am still doing the exercises, and I'm trying to take care of myself as best I can. Yeah, so I hope all of you have a wonderful new year, and I hope that you enjoyed Christmas as well. It's such a wonderful time to spend time with our families, and praise the Lord for all that he's given us. And so, anyway, I had a blessed Christmas. It's always wonderful for me. And don't forget, you guys, you need to vote on these extreme expedition boot socks, and whether you want a medium brown or a large gray heather. And we can send these out in the mail next week. And so, and don't forget, I'll tell you who the winner is for today's yarn, which was the Heritage Burgundy colorway. And that is Sue Royce Harden. Yay! Yay, Sue Harden. You have some wonderful heritage. And this is the burgundy colorway. And all you have to do is get in contact with us and give us your shipping address, and we can get it out in the mail to you. So everyone have a great new year. Oh, also, this next week, I wanted to talk to you about, I'm going to be doing this. I'm doing this shawl that I'm starting. It's by Kelley Hudson. And it's While They Play Designs. And it's on Ravelry. And right now, she's giving like 40% off all of her patterns through the end of December. So a few more days. If you have ever knit any of her patterns, they are fantastic. And I have enjoyed knitting many of her patterns. And they're all at 40% off. And all you have to do is, it's Kelley Hudson. And it's the one that I'm going to be working on is a really nice big cabled shawl. And it's called A Walk Through the Aspens. And if you type in snow fern at all capital one word SNOWFERN into the coupon code section, you can get 40% off through the end of the year. So if you guys aren't familiar with Ravelry, a lot of times in the top 20 patterns listing, I always browse through there because a lot of times it's a brand new pattern that's released and they offer it for free. So that's a great way to get a new pattern. Or you can look, and sometimes around the holidays, a lot of designers are giving a good discount on their patterns, and because it's like a gift to you. And so Kelley Hudson is doing that, and I saw it and went, oh, I need to share with you because you have a few more days that you can take a look at her patterns and see if there's any in there that strike your fancy, because she is a great designer and it's fun to do her patterns. So I thought you might enjoy that. So hopefully that Megan can put the link so that you know where to find her patterns, and then you can enjoy it too. So I'll be working on that next week, and I hope you have a great new year, and I will talk to you soon.